And here we are live once again, or are we? Let's see if I'm actually going to have a video when I start off this time, since, yeah, got it started. I've been going for 15 seconds now. There it is. There we are. Okay. Just making sure that the camera is going to actually work this time. So today I've got Beetlejuice to open up for you from Neca, and it says Beetlejuice striped suit. And on the back, it tells us that they also had available him in the that red tuxedo that he wears at the end of the movie when he's going to marry Lydia. And this could have been a vintage carded figure, and I kind of feel like they wanted to go for the feel of like a vintage Kenner carded figure, but it's not exactly the artwork that's on the Kenner figures. I guess maybe they just didn't have access to it or whatever, but it seems like artwork that could have been used at that time, but it's not. So this is I believe what this figure was. What, Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice? Well, he's already here, so it's if anything, I'd be getting rid of him, wouldn't I? He's right here. But yeah, so I think that this one was a promotional item that was put out to kind of cash in on the release of the sequel to Beetlejuice, the one that came out last year, and also around Halloween time. And I remember finding them like after Halloween time and finding them like marked down fairly cheap. You can see I got this one for $10, and originally the retail price on here was $24.96. So yeah, that's quite the discount, less than 50% even. They wanted to get rid of these things. They didn't want this guy haunting their store either. But it's an excellent likeness of Michael Keaton. He's got the handbook for recently deceased. He's got a snake. He doesn't have a whole lot of other accessories, though. It doesn't look to be like any extra hands or anything. This is not an ultimate Beetlejuice. This is just Beetlejuice. So it seems like kind of a very bare bones release for NECA. But again, I kind of feel like this was something they just kind of wanted to get out there so that they could sell these for the release of the movie and Halloween and everything. And I have seen like fancier Ultimate Edition figures, but I haven't picked any of them up yet. Let's go ahead and open them up. And we can see the background with this kind of square spiral back here. Bobby Wald says, now I'm interested in seeing if anyone's ever custom 89 Batman figure to be Beetlejuice. Well, that's not a bad idea. I didn't think about it at the time because at the time Kenner was actually making both Batman and Beetlejuice, so I already had a Kenner. I think they're not quite the same scale, though. I think Beetlejuice is like a slightly larger scale. I think Beetlejuice was more in scale with Ghostbusters, which I can understand why they would think that would be a good scale to put it in, since, he's the ghost with the most, and they're the Ghostbusters. So, like, if 80s kids ever wanted a crossover between the two of those, which would make sense. So the handbook for the recently deceased is a little plastic book, doesn't open up or anything. And unfortunately, the front of the book is just a sticker that they put on there. And I say unfortunate because it doesn't quite line up with the actual book cover. So it has gotten a little damaged. I probably would have rather they just printed this directly on the book than made a sticker just for that reason alone. Dominic Z is here, and he says hi. All right, so let's go ahead and set that aside. Since Beetlejuice doesn't have any extra hands, and both of his hands are splayed open like this, he can't hold either one of these accessories. Here's the snake. There's the head of the snake. And it's just a plain, red snake. Not really much to write home about there. So let's get Beetlejuice himself out of the packaging. All right, BJ, let's see. Looks like that's the only tabs. He's got a double rubber tab around the mid-torso. And when I say that this is a basic Beetlejuice figure from NECA, I mean basic. This is a very limited amount of articulation we have on this guy. So if you want to get a Beetlejuice that's got some good articulation to him, I would suggest looking into the NECA Ultimate figures. Those would probably be a little more posable. But hey, this is a figure I paid $10 for, so I'm not really too disappointed in that. So let's go ahead and talk about what articulation he has. So the head does rotate all the way around, but the hair kind of bumps into the shoulders, so it knocked his head off. Which, if there's one piece of articulation you want Beetlejuice to have, you want his head to rotate all the way around, right? Because he's seen The Exorcist 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time he sees it. So, but unfortunately, no luck there. Beetlejuice's arms rotate all the way around at the shoulders, and they raise up to the side about that far. And there's no elbow articulation whatsoever. Beetlejuice's wrists rotate all the way around, and they have a horizontal hinge, so they can move back and forth like that. Beetlejuice has a single articulation at the waist, which can move back and forth like that, frontwards and backwards like that. I knocked his head off again. This head does not want to stay on very well. Let's see if I can get it on properly this time. There we go. All right, so it should stay on this time. All right, where was I? Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's the articulation you've got at the waist. Absolutely no leg articulation whatsoever. And you know what I say about that? If you can't move its legs, it's not an action figure. It's a statue that you can move its arms. That's but there is, oddly enough, ankle articulation, or a boot cut at least, so the boot rotates all the way around. And it seems like that's about it. That's about all the articulation that you get on this guy. Now, he is in scale with other NECA figures, so we can see him next to the Mummy. And I think the height actually works pretty well, because I believe Boris was 5'10", and Michael Keaton, I believe, is 5'7", so he should be a little bit shorter than the Mummy. And we can see him next to, I got Dracula here, so we can see him next to Dracula, and he's a bit shorter than Dracula too. But like I said, Michael Keaton, not the tallest dude in the world, so like, it's probably like pretty good scale for him, I think. Now, somewhere around here, I might have in this pile of stuff on my couch. I might have over here, maybe. Somewhere around here, I did have the old NECA. Here we go. The old NECA Michael Keaton Batman. So if you want to see Batman versus Beetlejuice, there it is right there. And you can see they actually are the same height. The two Michael Keaton figures are in scale with each other, so that's nice. Beetlejuice is actually slightly taller if you don't count the hair. But I guess he's got a little more heel. Michael Keaton, famously, his Batman boots were made out of Nike Air Jordan sneakers. So Bobby Walt asked, have you seen the Batman Easter egg in the Beetlejuice movie? In the new one or in the old one? Because I don't remember one in the old one, and I haven't seen the new one yet. I would like to see the new one. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So, but yeah, if I set them there on the table, they're about the same height. Except for like Beetlejuice's lack of leg articulation is making it hard for him to stand up at all. I have to line up the boots exactly, I guess. I will say about the I don't really mind so much this being a little more of a limited articulation figure, since it was so cheap. But man, it's weird to have a figure that you can't move his legs, and he still doesn't want to stand up. Like, I don't know. I think I finally got him to stand up. But he's got accessories that he can't hold, and it's hard to get. Hey, Max Games and Toys is here. Hey, how's it going? So, but while I will say that NECA definitely skimped on the articulation on this guy, this is a cheap NECA figure. Like, they did not put a whole lot of. This is like the worst articulation I've ever seen on any NECA figure. Even the Ardath Bey Mummy had better articulation than this, because like at least he had an excuse that he can't move his legs because he's wearing a robe. Beetlejuice got no such excuse. I would even be like okay if they put like old superpowers style, Star Wars style, like T-crotch kind of articulation on there, as long as you can move his legs at all. But oh well. And Sean Franklin is here. Hi, Sean Franklin. Hope you're doing well today. So we got a lot of cool people popping in to say hi. That's always fun. But I do think, as even though the articulation is whack, and you know, I only paid $10 for this figure, so I'm not going to feel too bad about the articulation being whack on this figure because I only paid $10 for it, and he's going to look cool standing on my shelf. Neca did not skimp on the details on this figure, so if at first glance, if you're not paying any attention to the articulation, you might think this was a figure as high quality as what Neca usually puts out. And in terms of like the sculpting and the paint application, it is just dead on point. Sean Franklin asks, are you going to see Black Phone 2? I haven't even seen Black Phone 1 yet, so maybe I should get on that. Max Games and Toys says he just watched it yesterday, though, so somebody has at least. You're not alone. All right, so looking at some of the details on this, of course, the Michael Keaton likeness is just dead on. Looks exactly like him. They did a great job with the sculpting. They did a great job with the paint applications. You got a lot of that green sort of mold growing around Beetlejuice's face like we saw in the movie, and the hair itself is like, you know, I'm never really was sure if he was supposed to have white hair or blonde hair, but it's all streaked with that green mold. And they did an interesting thing with it where this hair is actually kind of molded in a translucent plastic. So it does have that kind of wispy, it managed to give that kind of wispy look like Beetlejuice's hair had in the movie, even though it's a solid piece. And that's really cool. And you can see like they did a lot of the, you know, the shading around the eyes and like little green blotches around his mouth. And of course the teeth are all disgusting and rotted looking, and he looks like Beetlejuice. That's what Beetlejuice is supposed to look like. The sculpting is good. Lots of details to the suit. You know, of course it's got the stripes on it, like you know, the stripes on Beetlejuice's suit don't make any sense. If you look at the way that a suit is usually striped, like the stripes come straight down the arm, but these go like concentric around the arm. And, you know, it's to make him look weird. He's supposed to be a weird looking guy in a weird looking suit. And I think they did a good job. And to me, this is what's kind of the definitive look for Beetlejuice. And I think most people would agree with me. It was what they had on the movie poster. And also in addition to it being an outfit that he wore in the movie, even though I think it's an outfit that he just kind of wears kind of briefly in the movie. He wears a few outfits in the movie. This is the main outfit that he wore on the Beetlejuice cartoon show, which, you know, honestly, we probably watched the Beetlejuice cartoon show more than we watched the movie because it was on every single day. And we watched every single episode of it. And there was a lot more footage of it to watch. So we kind of became a little more familiar with the character from the cartoon, I think, than we did the actual movie. Max Games and Toys asked, did I like the second movie? And I'd mentioned earlier, but I think it was before you came in, I still haven't even seen the second movie. But I think maybe I'll try to watch it sometime soon, since, of course, it is spooky season. It is Halloween season. And I want to watch as many good spooky movies as I can. So that's definitely one that was on the list with the original Beetlejuice. And I also wanted to try to watch Sinners because I haven't seen Sinners yet. And I heard that movie was excellent. But yeah, so there's a couple of new movies that I wanted to try to watch this year, in addition to a lot of my traditional ones. You know, I've watched a good number of the Universal monsters and the Hammer horror because I really like those. I've watched what else have I watched? I watched Phantom of the Paradise and a lot of the you know, I like the old school kind of gothic horror kind of stuff. That's the kind that I really like. I like you know, the Universal monsters, the Hammer horror. I like Dracula. I like Frankenstein. I like the Wolfman. I like all that kind of stuff. Max Games and Toys says Sinister is a great Halloween movie. I'll consider checking that one out. I haven't seen that one yet. And I haven't seen any of the Conjuring movies either. I do remember that when I worked at the movie theater and we had it. People kept mispronouncing the name when they came up to buy it, and they kept asking to see the Conjuring. Is what it's like. It's the Conjuring. What, you don't know that? Jeez. Anyway, so but yeah, they did a great job with the sculpting and the paint on this figure. They did not do such a great job with the articulation. So if you can find these sitting around your Walmart still for $10, I'd say it's probably a pretty good $10 figure. Like I said, it's not going to be up to your usual NECA standards, but I mean, if you want that, you're going to have to pay usual NECA prices. I paid $10 for this guy. So let's get one more shot before I close out. I want to get one more shot of the NECA Batman next to the NECA Beetlejuice, because that amuses me. And that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little shorter than usual, but, you know, they didn't really give me a whole lot to go over with that figure. So not a whole lot of accessories, not a whole lot of articulation, but the I will say it is the same sort of quality sculpting and painting that you can expect from a NECA figure. So they did a great job with that. If you just want a Beetlejuice that's going to look good on your shelf, then this is the one to do it. Hopefully, yes, he does indeed have, he didn't come with a figure stand, but he does have pegs in his feet that you can stick him on a figure stand. So I'm just going to use one of these extra McFarlane figure stands that I have sitting around. Actually, I'm going to specifically dig out. So I've just got stacks of figure stands here. I should have one somewhere from all of these that I've opened. Come on, there's got to be one in here somewhere. You know, I complain about these things all the time, and now when I'm actually looking for one, yeah, here we go. I'm going to put them on one of these McFarlane toy digital stands, because like I said, it bothers me to put a DC figure on a stand that's got a picture of Spawn on it. But with Beetlejuice, I think it's okay. He's not a DC character. Max Games and Toy says that figure, it's around 40 to 45 over here. Well, you know, you might be thinking of the, like I said, the Ultimate figure. That's about retail for that. I think just anywhere is that's one that's in the I'd say the cheapest I'd be able to get that one over here might be like 35, 36. But this is not the Ultimate figure. He has very poor articulation. He doesn't have any elbow articulation, doesn't have any leg articulation whatsoever. I think it's the same sculpt as that one, but it's just kind of a cheap version of it that they made. Who made the better sculpt for you, McFarlane or NECA? I'm assuming that you're talking about Batman. Are you talking about Batman? I will say that the NECA Batman sculpt is far more accurate to the character's appearance in the film. And I think a lot of that is because McFarlane, with their version of the 89 Batman, they kind of exaggerated the musculature and the height of the figure. So he's about as tall and almost as buff as Ben Affleck's Batman. And that should not really be the case. Ben Affleck's Batman would be much taller and much more muscular than Michael Keaton's Batman. So this Batman actually is more accurate in scale. He stands a little shorter than most of the live action McFarlane Batmans. And that's probably as it should be, because like I said, Michael Keaton's only like 5'7", so he's not like the tallest dude in the world. So yeah, he should stand a little shorter than Ben Affleck and Christian Bale and other Batman actors who stand 6 feet or above. But also, I think they did a much better job with the sculpting on it, just in general. And it's the McFarlane 89 Batman is fine. But this one is just way more accurate in every possible way as far as that goes. But the main thing is I like the way that they sculpted the cowl better. I kind of wish I had that Batman over here so I can compare. As you can see, this cowl is all one solid piece, which is as it was in the movie. And famously, Batman can't turn his head is the criticism. And I always say Batman doesn't need to turn his head. Remember, he punched the dude in the face, like without even looking. NECA's poorly plastic quality. Well, yeah, NECA, I've never really had the issue with NECA as far as breakage goes. That's just me. But I don't move these guys around too rough. I have heard of people having NECA figures break and break directly out of the package. And the closest I've had, at least as far as my experience with NECA goes, is if you saw the episode where I opened up the Ardath Bey figure from the Mummy, that when I took him out of the package, he snapped in half. but it didn't break. I said, oh, he broke him, but he didn't actually break. He just came apart at the middle, and I was able to get him, put back together, obviously. But even then, that just happened because there was the rubber tab had like slipped in between the joint, and I didn't know there was a rubber tab there. So when I went to pull him out, the rubber tab kind of split him in half. But I was able to get him put. It's here. I got him right here. He's made to come apart. I mean, like I don't think he's actually intended to come apart, but you can see like it's just a ball joint, so it just came apart like that. It's fine, and I was able to pop it right back together, just like I was able to pop it right back together right now. So, but yeah, I do like that. I do really like this Mummy figure, even though the articulation is kind of whack on him. But like I said, I kind of excuse that because he's got this robe. Where do you get? Even if they gave him fully articulated legs underneath the robe, like with the Invisible Man, I can move his legs around. Except for I can't move his legs. He's got articulation, but I can't actually move his legs around because of the robe. So to me, it kind of actually makes more sense just to have a solid robe. I get that. I understand that. So I'm not complaining about it too much. But Beetlejuice should be able to move his legs at least a little bit. At least give him like T-crotch articulation, like something like a Star Wars figure, But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Beetlejuice. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure and the character of Beetlejuice in general. I'd heard kind of mixed things about the second one. I know a lot of people really loved it. A lot of people were kind of like, it's okay. I never heard anybody say it was awful, though. So hopefully I'll enjoy it when I finally do get around to watching it. I'm just going to need some a little bit of time off to watch it. And next episode, we're going to take a trip back to the land of Mego. Classic 1970s style action figure stylings. And we got this is an older figure, but it's one that I've had for a while. And it's one that like I picked up for fairly cheap and thought, hey, this is another one I could save for Halloween time. And here we go. Nosferatu from the original 1920s version Nosferatu, the classic version, not the new version that just came out last year. But it's the original version, the one that started it all, the very first vampire movie. Well, I guess technically Dracula's Death was the very first vampire movie, but it's lost cinema. This is the earliest surviving vampire movie, and it's one whose influence is still being felt today. Like I said, they just remade this movie. And it was pretty cool. I loved that new Nosferatu movie, and I love the original Nosferatu. And you can see that he glows in the dark. And I love glow in the dark figures. I love glow in the dark figures. I love Migos. I love Dracula. So this is going to be a fun thing to open. I'm going to really enjoy this. And we've got plenty more spooky Halloween stuff to come next week. I'm not going to open all my Thundercats figures yet. That's going to have to wait till next month. But this guy, I figure, he's spooky enough. He can fit in with the Halloween theme. He's a guy with a skull for a face, and he's also a mummy. That's like two spooky things: skeletons and mummies. So he's going to fit right in with Halloween. And I got to say, of the old Ben Cooper Halloween costumes, Skeletor was a pretty awesome costume. They did a great job with all of the Masters Universe costumes, but I think Skeletor was probably the best one. But I am a little biased because Skeletor is my favorite characters. We got a character that's both Skeletor and Mumra. It's Skelra. So we'll have him coming up next week at some point. Also, next week at some point, since we're getting awfully close, to October 21st. And it's the 40th anniversary of when this guy went back in time. Yes, it's Marty McFly in his full Darth Vader regalia. So that's going to be one that's going to be coming next week. So going to take a little bit of a break from Halloween so we can observe Back to the Future. Because, it's a Back to the Future month too. And then I do still have Doc Brown, also the hazmat version of Doc Brown. So we'll have that one to open on November 5th. So, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have so much fun with the rest of Halloween month. And I got a couple of figures I'm not ready to show you yet. I'm not ready to show, but I got some special stuff that I'm saving for later on in the month. But that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff. Where do I get all that stuff? I think what you mean is, where do I get these wonderful toys? I pick up a lot of stuff because, I'll see it on clearance. Like this Beetlejuice figure, like I said, I saw him for $10. I picked that up for $10, and it was worth $10. I'll say that. But, I try to find things on sale. Like I said, I picked up the Invisible Man, which was the last of the Universal Monsters that I opened up. I picked up the Invisible Man because I saw that for sale on the Walmart app for only $20. So I couldn't say no to that. So I try to get stuff as cheaply as possible. I'm a pretty cheap guy normally. I don't like to spend a whole lot of money on things if I can avoid it. Like I said, that's why I'm probably not going to wind up getting the glow-in-the-dark Creature from the Black Lagoon, even though I would really like to have that figure, but it's just so expensive. If you ever see me open up the glow-in-the-dark Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I honestly hope you do, because I really would like to have that figure. If you ever see me open that up, it's because I found a really good deal on it. So, you see the stuff back here that I got hanging up. Most of the stuff was under $20 that I got hanging up. Even the NECA figures that were originally retailing for I think $30 to $40 for those Flash Gordon figures. I was able to get those on eBay for $15 a piece. So, I tend to try to save my money when I can. And if I see a good deal, I'll snatch it up. That's how that usually goes. I got the Superman movie figures over here. I didn't buy those until I got those on clearance. And even then I just got bought offers. Give me 5. but yeah, so anyway, I think that's it for this episode. Make sure you like and subscribe. YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe, so then they'll push my videos out to more people, and then those people will like and subscribe, and it's a vicious cycle. I like it when you leave comments, so please leave a comment once this video is posted. Let me know what you think about Beetlejuice, both the character in general and this figure specifically. And maybe you have one of the better NECA figures that actually has good articulation. And if you do, let me know. I might consider picking one of those up. I think it might be worth it. So, but that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Next episode, I will be back with Migos Nosferatu. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.